Hello and welcome to the Where Do We Begin podcast. I'm Harry Perryman, number 36 from the Giants, and that's about it.
Cheers for that, Harry. My name's Harper. I'm your co-host today. Lockie is my other co-host. How are you, Lockie?
Yeah, I'm awesome, mate. I'm awesome, thanks.
I'm pumped for this chat with a great man. Like he said, he introduced himself. He's Harry Perryman. He's played 52 games of AFL footy, and he was taken at pick 14 in 2016 by GWS Giants. He's a great guy to talk to, Lockie?
Yeah, he was, mate. With Harry, it's the 3 Fs. It's footy, farming, and fishing. He loves it, mate, and he's just such an interesting guy to talk to. It's a really fun episode, and we just had an awesome chat.
Yeah, like you said, bit of fun, great guy to talk to. Let's get straight into it.
That's the 4th F. Yeah, let's dive in. Let's go.
All right, now we've got one of the real young guns in the AFL. We haven't had an AFL player for a while, actually. Goes by the name of Harry Perryman, plays for the GWS Giants. Welcome, Harry.
Yeah, no, thanks, boys. I've been pretty keen to get on this show, so thanks for having me.
Oh, cheers, Harry. I tried to chuck a little bit of feelers out to see if there was any little stories I could find. And, mate, the only feedback I could got was you're the nicest bloke ever, so I'm super pumped to have you on. Now, it's the off-season. I just want to know where you are now and what you got up to today.
Yeah, so I'm actually, as soon as the season's done, I usually get straight out of Sydney. I'm probably the first bloke to get out of Sydney once the season's done, so I usually just come straight back to the farm, and then it's been pretty busy back here at the moment, kind of doing all our harvest and whatnot. So I usually come home, and I'm the one that does all the work back here when I come home.
Yeah, mate, I've got siblings too, mate.
Yeah.
I'm always stuck doing the work, all the heavy lifting.
Mate, I always get into me because I've got 3 other brothers. I always get into them saying the only work gets done when I'm home. So I've just been getting into them boys, and yeah, it's been good to get back. And I'm just actually at the moment just sitting in the car trying to get a bit of good reception. So because the reception in the house is no good at all. So I've had to make a little drive down the paddock and get some good service.
Mate, speaking of little brothers, I reckon Harper found a little something on your Wikipedia page. Harper, do you want to?
Yeah, mate. So I'm not sure if you've been doing a bit of editing on the old Wikipedia page of yourself, but I'll just read out a little quote from the Wikipedia page. Yeah. So it says, Harry has 3 brothers, Joe, Ed and Nick. Whilst Nick and Ed are also elite footballers, Joseph struggles to get a kick. Due to this, he has decided to pursue other interests such as hip-hop and singing. Is it true?
That is I wish it was true, but it's so false.
Was it you that made that?
Oh,
Did you edit that?
I'm going to show the boys that.
You reckon it was one of them that wrote it up?
Oh, it's the biggest stitch up. I don't know who stitched him up, but I'd love to find out who it is because that's hilarious.
Do a bit of digging. It's worth knowing. But tell us a bit about your brothers, mate. What's it like growing up out in Collingullie with the 3 brothers?
Yeah, no, we had I've got 3 brothers. So Nick's older than me, and then Ed's underneath me, and then Joe's underneath Ed. So we're all 2 years apart. So we obviously grew up here on the farm, and we obviously played footy in the winter, and everyone back here, we always played cricket in the summer. So we did a fair bit of water skiing and hung out in the farm and that. So we're all pretty close brothers. So we keep in touch a fair bit. But it's always good to get back here and talk a bit of dribble with the boys and hang shit on each other.
Yeah, like obviously Collingullie boys, so growing up in Collingullie, pretty much all your life, go back there as much as you can, like you were saying. But tell us a bit about Collingullie, the place. Like, what's so special about Collingullie? What's so special about in your heart?
Yeah, I've played all my footy there, going through the juniors as a young kid, and then made my way into the seniors when I was about 15, I reckon. And I was lucky enough to win back-to-back senior premierships back here when I was 15 and 16. So they were good times, and it was with me good mate Matt Kennedy, who's at Carlton now. So I think we've just I don't know. It's only a small town, Collingullie as well, so kind of everyone knows each other and everyone's very welcoming. And the footy club's just the heartbeat of the town, and there's not much there. There's a footy club, little store, and then obviously the Collingullie pub, the gully pub as they call it. So we'd usually just have training at the gully and usually walk over. Sorry, lads, the lights have turned off. We'd usually just train on a Tuesday, Thursday, head to the pub for a feed, maybe a couple of drinks, and then obviously after them grand final victories, we had some pretty big nights at the Gully pub.
Mate, tap beer at Gully pub, mate, seems like the place to be. Now, I hear that down at Collingullie, one of your coaches, Shane Lennon, is a bit of a legend. Now, I popped onto YouTube and I saw a clip from during your 2014 grand final. And if anybody wants to pop on and have a look, it's got like 60k views. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen it because it is one of the great all-time speeches.
Yeah, we'll actually play the clip for that now. That lasts about 4 minutes, so skip ahead 4 minutes if you're not interested, but here's the clip.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we've been working towards since our first game. Actually, this has been 4 years in the making. 4 years. 4 years in the making. Okay? Today's our day. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to pay the price. You're going to have to do things that you've never done before. There's no tomorrow. Right? Give it everything you've got. When you think you're cactus, you go again. You've still got 20% left. Dream, believe, achieve. Confidence and courage to take the game on. Run. When it's your turn to go, you go. Bloke closest to the footy goes. We're predictable to one another. Release player kicks. Right? Release player kicks. Sticking to our structures. 22 contributors. 22 contributors. Life's about challenge. Life's about opportunity. Life's about grabbing that opportunity. Life's about making the most of that challenge. Memories. You create memories as you go along. We've got an opportunity to create a memory here today. Right? A memory that you take with you when you're fucking 6 foot under the ground. You take these things with you. Right? Old Clarkie's here today in spirit with us. Right? It's our day. We're going to have to pay the price like we've never paid it before. We've done the work. Right? We've done the work. We're ready to go. We're cherry ripe. It's our day. When the crunch moments arrive, that's when we stand up and that's when we're at our best. And there's going to be plenty of them here today. The crunch moments is when we're at our best. But at your best when your best is needed. Together, everyone achieves more. There's no I in team. What can I do to make this team better? What can I do to make this team better? What can I do to help us achieve something special? The fairy tale. The fairy tale, creating history. In it together. We've got the good job, boys. We go out and we get to do it together as a group. A tight-knit group. Will, boys, will. The will's got to be better than the skill. The will's got to be better than the skill. When it's your turn to go, you go like there's no tomorrow. Win the ball, the most important thing. Win the ball, win the contest. Make a decision. First options are always your best. Execute. Take the game on. Have courage, have confidence in your own ability and your teammates' ability. Self-belief. Trust. If it is to be, it's up to me. Come on. If it is to be, it's up to me. Come on, boys. Lessons are learned. Trophies are earned. Let's go out there and do each other.
So my first, it's a two-part question I've got for you, Harry. The first is if that speech was the catalyst for you going on to win that premiership, and the second is if coach sprays such as that still have a place in the modern game due to the change in tactics of coaches.
I don't know. Well, he used to fire us up before some big games, especially the grand final. He'd always get us going. But that game we'll actually get flogged till half time, and I think his half time speech was even better, which got us going, and we ended up winning by about 10 points. But I don't know. These days you don't really see many sprays anymore, but it's kind of gone out of the game. But which I'm not complaining about because I'd probably cop a few if I was back in the old days. But yeah, do yourself a favour and watch a bit of Shane Lennon on YouTube. He's absolute gold, and he's still coaching back here at the moment. He's not coaching with Collingullie. He's coaching with another team in a different league, but he still does his same speeches that gets him going, which is good fun.
Yeah, and is it true he threw a bag of cherry ripes out onto the floor and said, "You boys are cherry ripe come finals time"?
Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah, that was a pisser.
Oh, mate, seems like one of the all-time coaches. And the fact that you're playing in senior premierships when you're 15, mate, I'm 22 and I still can't get a kick on Saturday. So thanks for making the rest of us look bad.
No, it was good. We had a pretty good group them couple of years, and obviously he was our coach. So yeah, it was definitely a good club. Had a great culture.
I've got to say, mate, I didn't even last in footy till I was 15. I played a season in under-10s, a couple of seasons under 12s. I got a grand total of 1 behind. Never kicked a goal for the mighty West Coburg. So, mate, you're outdoing me. Bloody 2 premierships by 16 years old. It's just pretty insane, mate. So good on you.
You'll be right. You're only young. You're only 17. You got plenty of years ahead.
Yeah, mate, I've got to say, I've not played like a competitive game of footy for probably since the under 12s days, like 5 years. So take a bit of work to get up to your level.
Mate, you're just a project player, Harper. This is what I've been saying to you, mate. You've spent 5 years just working on your game, and then you're just going to come out as a Storm next year.
You need to get yourself in the gym, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
You need a good pre-season.
Yeah, mate, after the bloody year 12 exams, I'll be hitting the gym hard. I'll be picked up by all the recruiters in the fucking nation. I don't even need to know how to kick. I'll just be that big, you know?
Mate, what's your favourite gym exercise, Harry? Are you big on the bench press?
Mate, I try and stay out of the gym as much as I can. I bloody hate it. I went there tonight and I was just thinking, geez, what am I doing here? I don't mind training with the footies and that. Just when I get in the gym and weights, I just think, fuck. Get me out of here.
Down at the Collingullie gym, or do you have a home set up?
Yeah, my gym's at the pub.
Gym's at the pub? Whoa.
Actually?
Nothing more country than that, a gym at the pub.
I wish it was.
Yeah, lovely. But, mate, we're talking about country footy there, but I just want to get back onto that for a bit. Like, obviously, playing country footy at 15, 16, what's the level like and the skill level of their players? Obviously, you're playing against men, but what's the skill level like in terms of the competition?
And mate, and did they target you? Because I know always seeing like when one of the under 18s or 19s got to call up to the seniors, mate, they sort of got targeted a little bit by a couple of the older boys when I've played.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong comp back here actually. Get a lot of older, stronger bodies. So as a young kid, you kind of a few of us did get targeted, but yeah, it's a pretty strong comp, especially final. The bottom teams aren't as good. The top teams, you have some very good games, and yeah, we were lucky enough to when we played up against some good sides, so it made it even better. A lot of our finals were close wins. So, but yeah, you definitely do. I reckon your footy, you probably grow a lot quicker as a footy player when you're that age playing against men instead of playing against kids your age. You're kind of playing against older men, and I think it develops your footy a lot quicker than just kind of going through the junior ages. Yeah,
and it would have been special, obviously, getting to play with your older brother. I'm sure he looked after you when you were making your debut. Have you got to play with any of your other brothers?
No, I only got to play with Nick. Yeah, Nick was pretty hard at it, so I only got to play with him. But they won a grand final a couple of years ago, and I missed it. And Nick played with Ed, so we've all kind of played with each other. But in the 2014 and 2015 grand finals, there's 4 Kennedy boys. So there's Matt's got 4 other. They all played as well. So it was pretty cool playing with them boys.
Mate, yeah, that's a phenomenal effort.
But New South Wales, mate, like obviously being in New South Wales known to everyone else as big rugby league state. But is rugby league even a thing out in Collingullie?
Nah, it's actually down here because Collingullie is near Wagga. I think AFL definitely is the number one sport down here. It's kind of because you're kind of getting pretty close to Albury. There's a strong comp in Albury, local comp, and there's a bit of rugby league in Wagga and rugby union, but there's kind of mainly AFL nowadays. But yeah, so it's becoming a pretty strong comp each year.
Yeah, just on that quickly, we put a little message asking for some questions for you, Harry, out on the socials. And someone asked, Mark Costello asked on Facebook, you can find us on Facebook at Where Do We Begin? So Mark Costello asked, what team did you support as a kid?
You wouldn't believe all us. Dad had us mad Collingwood supporters. Actually, all us 4 brothers and Dad, we were just mad Collingwood. So yeah, it's pretty funny actually. Yeah, I reckon a few of me boys still go for them. They love them.
They don't go for GWS, they go for Collingwood.
I reckon they still go for the Pie, some of them.
So, mate, just on GWS, so you were part of the academy. Do you want to talk about, I guess, what that was like and how they helped your footy and, I guess, leading up to the draft?
Yeah, I did a fair bit with the academy. I mainly started I can't remember, 15s, 16s, and then mainly took it a bit more serious. I didn't really take it that serious for a while. Just in the I just played cricket and footy and that, and then in my 18th year I said, I'm pretty dumb at school, so I thought I'm either going to be on the farm for the rest of my life or I might as well have a crack at footy. So I had a bit of a crack with in the academy in the under 18 year, and I had a pretty good year. And then, that got me to the draft. And then I kind of had a fair inkling I was going to go to the Giants because I'd done a fair bit with them in the academy and that, and knew a fair few of the boys because the Riverinians are pretty strong. They pick up a lot of players in the academy out of there. So, it was good. It was good to get up there, but it was a bit of a shock moving to Sydney, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was just going to ask on that, must be pretty weird being amongst, I guess, mostly these city slicker Sydney guys, and you're just this guy from the country. Did you feel out of place at all at the academy?
No, I actually didn't. I think my first couple of months, just trying to get, probably my first year, to be honest, up in Sydney, even first year and a half, it was a bit hard to get used to. Just obviously come from the farm and moving into Sydney, moving into a little apartment, that was probably the hardest bit, I thought. And I loved playing footy and training. I just didn't really like the lifestyle. But I think as you grow older and develop more, you kind of start to like the place a bit better.
Yeah, so I guess just touching on that, how was it going from, thousands of hectares of land down in the country, just a little apartment in Sydney? How did you find that transition? And are you used to it now? Obviously, you still love getting back home, so you'd still rather, I guess, be in Collingullie than in Sydney.
Yeah. It was the first, I reckon, probably took me a good 18 months to get used to it all. It was pretty hard the first few months, just obviously moving into a little apartment in Sydney and getting used to the traffic and just because I only just been on the farm ever, so it's kind of just getting used to it all. But obviously now it's a bit more different. We've got a bit of a house and a bit of a backyard and got a little tinny out there we go fishing in and a few little things like that. So you kind of just adjust to it a bit. Yeah,
I was just going to ask, I guess, in regards to having a tinny, have you always been fishing your whole life? Because obviously Collingullie is not that close to the water necessarily, or is it more something you got into when you moved up to Sydney?
It's probably, we used to do a lot of fishing back here in the river. It's a freshwater river.
What do you catch?
We catch mainly Murray cod, just in the river back here. But since moving to Sydney, I've probably done a little bit more, I reckon. Just it's pretty good to just get out in the boat and just get the tinny out and catch a few fatheads and that in around the Sydney harbour and take a few of the boys out and just talk a bit of shit and that, listen to the radio. So it's pretty good like that. It's just a kind of good thing, get away from training and get away from the footy and that for a bit. So, yeah, I used to do a lot of fishing with Jezza, but obviously can't do any more fishing with Jezza now. He's bloody... I need to get a bigger boat. I've lost his boat.
Oh, no. Mate, who will replace Jeremy now that Jezza's leaving? Who else? Who are the next Giants that will join you on the boat and be a good first mate?
Oh, well, I know Tommy Hutchison, he got drafted last year. He loves his fishing. And bring a little Brent Daniels, he doesn't mind as well. So I think them boys, they'll come out with me.
Mate, who will be the last person out on the boat? Who will just get seasick in the first 5 minutes and just want to go back in?
Oh, there'd be a few of them. I want to think. Can't imagine. Well, Zach Williams, I couldn't imagine him, but he's obviously not at the club anymore. We've lost him as well.
I reckon Dylan Shield doesn't look like much of a fisherman. You used to play with him, Dylan Shield.
Yeah, he wouldn't have come on the boat. No one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably pick Zachy, but I can't imagine him coming out in the
Oh,
boat.
jeez, mate. All the boys are bloody leaving. That makes it hard. But getting a bit sidetracked, but I want to keep on the fishing here, mate. Sure, you have one particular day that was just amazing fish. Because I still remember mine. It was just finished year 12 and we popped up to Victor Harbour in South Australia, mate. And then out on the boat for 15 hours or something. But we bagged out on tuna. It was bloody unreal.
That is unreal.
It was such a good day. It was such a good day. Caught my first tuna.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, mate. What about yourself? Sure, you've had a few special days out on the boat.
Yeah, I've had a couple. I remember it was back here actually. I remember catching a few real big Murray cod. I think they were about 70. Well, I think one was about 70 centimetre, just off a bit of chicken. Just caught it off a bit of chicken. So I remember that
bit of
day,
Woolworths chicken.
Yeah, I think it was black and gold brand or something from Coles or something dodgy, but they seem to love it for some reason. But I remember catching that, and then I've had a couple of good days with Jezza up in Sydney. You go out past the Sydney Harbour Bridge and you catch a few. Oh, what were they? Kingfish, I think. They're pretty good.
Was Jezza keeping you in the loop kind of this season, maybe even before, about what was going on with him and the club?
No, I had no idea, actually. Whenever I talk to him, I just talk fishing, really. I don't really talk anything else.
Well, what about any of the other boys? Is it always just like a sudden thing? Like, oh, there you go, I'm off, like on last day, and just like they're packing their bags and all of a sudden they're gone? Or do they ever keep you updated?
Did they buy you a new fishing rod?
Oh, I wish he left his boat here. But, it's kind of a bit weird. You kind of finish the season up and then you don't really talk too much about it, but then you kind of see everyone leaving and it's like, oh, geez, he's gone. Anyone staying?
Yeah, we hear like you signed a new contract for a couple more years just earlier this year, but there was a rumour that Port was in for you. Can you say if that was true or not?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. My manager he was doing all that kind of stuff, but I was always pretty keen to stay at the Giants, so I don't know, you'd have to ask him. I think the Port might have been pretty keen from what I heard. I don't really know that.
Mate, you can tell Harper's the aspiring journalist, mate. He's just looking for the biggest scoop here.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't even know much myself.
Yeah, mate, I've got to say, I'm a big Bombers man myself. I'd love you at the Dons. Like, I reckon you're the perfect kind of clean skills guy we need at the moment. It'd be perfect.
Mate, be careful, Harry. You'll just come on to the next thing. Harry Perryman says he wants to come to the Dons knowing Harper, mate. You got to be careful.
Oh, they've lost a couple of the old Bombers.
Oh, mate, let's move on from the Bombers. Don't really want to talk about that.
We'll get back on. We'll get back on the track.
Yeah.
Just knocked my mic. But so obviously going into the draft, I think you touched on it before. You were sort of like you thought GWS obviously taking academy selection, they could obviously match it. But then Adelaide put a bid on you. Were you a little bit worried, or were you always pretty confident you'd end up at the mighty Orange Tsunami?
Yeah, I was always pretty confident. I can't remember the night. It feels like ages ago, actually. But I remember...
Big night at the Collingullie pub.
Oh, actually, I had to go down to it, actually, in Sydney. So, I was spilling, but would have stayed at the pub and just started drinking. But
did the parents go down to Sydney with you? Up to Sydney, sorry?
Yeah, I had mum and dad go up with me. Yeah. So they were there. It was pretty nervous night, actually, because you kind of didn't know where you were going. But I had a fair idea I was going to go to the Giants. So, yeah, I'm lucky they picked me up.
Mate, and just touch on that first year of yours, because obviously it would have been a bit of a shock in terms of the professionalism. I feel like everybody says the first year is so bloody hard, especially, and then how it's just cracking into that Giant side, which was so strong, and coming off that 2016 prelim final, which was arguably one of the most talented teams ever.
Yeah, it definitely was. I remember it definitely was a shock. The training was the biggest shock, and just how... Yeah, just all of it. Like I didn't expect it at all. I didn't see it coming. So the first year is a shock. Once you get that under your belt, you're pretty right, and then you kind of get used to how hard the sessions are and how hard pre-season is. You just got to get yourself through pre-season. Whatever you do, just get through pre-season, then that'll set you up for the year. But it was a strong side, that 2016 one, and it was pretty hard to crack into that side the first couple of years. But I think that when you get dropped in them first couple of years, I think it makes you a better player. So you just got to stick at it, and you just don't want that feeling again. So it's kind of, I reckon it's only makes you better.
Yeah, I feel like what a lot of people don't appreciate necessarily with like AFL football and what's different to when you're just going down to have a kick with your local team is you have to be on just every single session.
Yeah.
Like you can't just sort of roll from work, just sort of go out, have a kick, just roll the arm over. Yeah. It's pretty intense the whole time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what it probably took me a long time to adjust. I'm just kind of used to just casually just going through training as I did back here, but then up there, I think it took me a while to get you got to go hard every session, and you can't just go through the motions. So if you're not feeling good, you can't just kind of stroll through. You got to be on. So that was probably my biggest thing I needed to improve on in my early days.
When you were at the academy, did you get to was there much of a connection with the seniors? Did you get to meet any of the Giants players or the coaches or anything like that?
Yeah, we did have a bit of connection. A few of us used to go to the club for a week or so and spend a week up there, but and then a few of the boys, we had a couple of blokes that used to text us out of the blue. I remember I had Heath Shaw, he used to text me a bit, even though he would have had no idea who I was, but I remember thinking it was pretty cool having Heath Shaw texting me, so he used to text me every then on how I was going throughout the year, which was pretty good. So yeah, we definitely had a bit of a connection there, which was pretty good being a young kid.
Now, we'll jump ahead to your first game against Richmond. I feel like it was a pretty bit of a special night. You had over 100 family and friends there, and you might have had a little bit of an impact on the outcome of the game.
Yeah, it was a good night, that one, actually. I remember the boys back here, the footy club back here, had a bye, so they a heap of them were up in Sydney and they were all carrying on, which is good fun. But I remember I hardly got a kick all night, but I was lucky enough to get a little touch at the end of the game there, which stopped the Tigers getting a go, and then we went up the other and kicked one. But yeah, I remember that was a pretty big night, that one. All the boys from the country were up in the city, so I took them all out after the game, and yeah, we're all carrying on.
Yeah, mate. Like I've got to say, lots of people, like the journos and stuff, even a couple friends of yours and friends of the show, they've been saying, cleanest skills in the league is all about the clean skills, and just to help your team win the game by just like a dirty old smother. I love that.
Yeah, I thought, well, I can't get a kick. I may as well do a tackle or a smother or something, just make myself a bit useful. Otherwise, I won't be playing next week.
Yeah, I saw on there, had a look at the stats of that game. You had 2 1%ers all game, and that was one of them. Bloody good one to have, eh?
Yeah, you'll take it. That's probably about the only one for my career.
So I guess just your first couple of years in the team, sort of like in and out in the side, I guess how did you deal with that? Because obviously GWS, like we discussed previously, such a strong team, and it was obviously tough the first couple of years, I guess in 2017, 2018, just to get consistent games. Yeah,
it was. I think my first 2 years, you find out a lot about yourself. I reckon getting dropped one week and then playing and getting dropped and getting playing again. But you just got to stick out. I remember getting dropped before a semi-final against Collingullie, and I was just shattered, and I just kind of thought I didn't want to feel that again. So kind of knuckled down, and I had a few injuries in my second year. It hurt me back and did a couple of hammies, but yeah, obviously it was a tough team to crack into. But I think it only makes you better when you got such a good side like that. You're training against good blokes, and it's only going to make you a better player down the track.
Yeah, mate, and like I can't imagine anything more gut-wrenching than like playing in the first final of like for the team and then getting dropped for the next week. It must have just been so shattering for you, mate.
Yeah, it was. I was pretty shattered, to be honest. I didn't really see it coming as well, so that was the worst thing. But I think that was, in hindsight, that was a good moment I needed, I reckon. Kind of made me knuckle down the next pre-season and the pre-season after, and you kind of just don't want to feel that feeling again. So yeah, I think in hindsight it was a good thing that happened.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it led you to the Collingullie dual pub/gym where you spent most of your times those pre-season. And it's worked, mate. If there's the pub and gym at Collingullie, the combination works for you. Just keep going at it. So I guess I was going to ask, obviously 2019 was a super year for you, super consistent. Do you just put that down to your pre-season, or do you feel like also, because I think you were playing a bit further up the field and the midfield a bit more, do you think it was just a combination of those things?
Yeah, I think it was. Obviously, having a good pre-season, being a bit more fitter, and I think this is my first year where I had a full season as well. And I like playing up around the midfield as well, so kind of all that combined together, probably helped a lot. But the most disappointing thing was we couldn't seem to win any games this year, but especially in the hub. So hopefully things change around next year for us.
Yeah, just on that, talking about your positions, we've got another Facebook question. This one's from John. He asks, where's your favourite position to play? You seem to have been swung all up and down the wings.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I like to play on the wing, and then I don't mind playing a bit in the midfield. I haven't really had much of a go in there yet, but I wouldn't mind having a go.
Yeah, Leon, if you're listening, Harry wants to play in the midfield, mate, so get him in there.
It'd be nice.
Mate, I'll tell you what, Leon should be listening, mate. He cost you a Coleman medal. The least he can do is give you a bit more midfield time.
Yeah, I know. It'd be nice to tell him where you want to play, but it's pretty packed in that midfield, so I don't mind just floating on the wing, going back, forward, just kind of doing whatever.
Where'd you play growing up?
Oh, it's pretty similar. I kind of played a lot of midfield, but then I played a lot on the wing for Collingullie and those senior sides. Played a bit of back flank, and kind of just back here on the wing. You kind of just do whatever. There's no real structure to it, so kind of just forward, back, midfield, just wherever the ball was going.
And mate, and just quickly, I'm loving the stash that you're growing. It's actually noticeable. On like mine, are you doing Movember or just a little?
Oh mate, when I come to the farm, I don't shave for about a month, 2 months.
Hey, you've got a good farmer's look on there. Lovely stash, like Lockie said. It got the singlet. But is it a hot day out in Collingullie today?
Yeah, it is actually. Well, it was real. It was about 30 odd, but I just went for a run and I was struggling, I tell you.
Yeah, we're recording this at 9:45 on the 10th of November, and I reckon it's still like 30 degrees outside here in Melbourne. It's bloody stinking hot.
Yeah, it's a stinker. I think.
Hot.
Yeah, no, I think it's supposed to be getting like real hot back here, maybe mid-30s, and even maybe I think it might be getting 40 next week or something.
Did Collingullie get hit by the drought much? Or
Yeah, we got hit hard. The last 3 years back here on the farm have been probably the worst they've ever seen, Dad reckons. So it's good to come back home and see this has probably been our best year that Dad's probably nearly ever seen. So it's pretty it's pretty good. It's good to get back and just see everything just looking real good, and everyone's vibe around the town and all the farmers and that are up and about. So it's unreal to see.
Mate, it's good to hear that somebody's having a good 2020 because I'm sure the rest of us aren't, mate. So that's awesome to hear. Now, I guess we'll jump back to the 2019 final series where you guys had a pretty awesome run.
Yep.
Do you just want to talk a little about that, like what the catalyst was to win 3 finals and to eventually make the grand final?
Yep. Yeah, we I don't know, I think we just timed it well. We had the week off before the finals, got a few blokes back for that first final, and I think we just got some good momentum up. We had a good win against the Dogs, and then we had a close win against the Brizzy Lions up there, and then obviously full of confidence going into the Collingwood game. We had a few good players out, but didn't seem to worry us. And then obviously then 3 weeks are good, and then we just kind of lost the plot on grand final day. But anyway, but yeah, I think, I don't know, we had a few blokes banged up, but it's no excuses. But Richmond were pretty hot that day as well, so it was obviously an unreal month of that. You kind of experienced it. The grand final week was unbelievable. So even though we got flogged on the last day, it was the lead up to it was unbelievable, and you just kind of makes you so jealous watching Richmond win it and just seeing how enjoyable it would be to win a grand final.
Yeah, I think Lockie wants to dig a bit deeper on that prelim final, and the other co-host, Jackson, he hasn't been on for a while. He's a big Pies fan. So, Jackson, just skip past this bit if you don't want to hear about it again. But, Lockie, you go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, I was actually at that Giants Collingwood game, so I've got a bit of a story. I'm actually a Cats fan, but me and my mates, because my mate goes for Essendon and they're no good, so we sort of started like a pseudo Giants fan club just because we know nobody else that goes for them.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a laugh. So I reckon we've been been the last 3 Melbourne finals. So we went to that game. We went to all the Melbourne supporter club group, like Giants supporter club group stuff, mate. Just went full into it, brought the scarves and stuff, and mate, it was actually crazy. Like, I felt personally unsafe there being like one of 1,000 Giants supporters and 95,000 Collingwood. How was that for you, having 95,000 screaming Pies fans?
It was pretty mad because when I was younger, that would have been me, one of those screaming Pies fans. But
did your brothers go for you or Collingwood?
I think they were going for Giants that day. The only time, but it was pretty mad that day. I remember it being pretty wet that one, but obviously when the Pies were coming in that last quarter, it was getting pretty scary. But the boys, we hung on pretty well, and yeah, it was probably one of our best victories from the club.
You played on steel side bottom most of that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I was on his wing for most of the day. I played mainly on him, and I've kind of grown up watching him my whole life, and I've loved him in Pendlebury. So it was pretty cool running against him and playing against him in prelim.
You got any tricks for anyone that wants to try to shut him down in the future? Any little sneaky Harry Perryman tips?
I don't know if I've got any tips, to be honest. I don't know. Just run hard forward, kick goals.
Keep it simple. I like it, mate. Now, jumping into grand final week, what was that like that experience? They say it's one of the best weeks of your life, and I know you didn't have the end result that you probably would have wanted, but I'm sure it would have still been a pretty surreal week for you.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's an unbelievable week. Your phone just goes off flat out the whole week, and I remember just like each night you go to sleep, you kind of just pinch yourself. You're playing in the grand final and at the MCG with 100,000. So yeah, and in the grand final parade's unbelievable. It'd just be like the feeling to win a grand final would just be the ultimate thing. So yeah, it just makes you so jealous. You just want to just get back there and experience it all again.
Yeah, well, how was Leon Cameron preparing you for it? Was he the type of coach that was saying just another week, or was he really getting you into the grand final, biggest week of your life kind of experience?
He was very good that week, actually. He kind of just said just embrace it and just enjoy the moment. So he was pretty calm like that, which was good. So yeah, it definitely was a bit of a different week though, and a lot of hype and a lot of text messages, and everything was a bit different. You can't really. People say it's just another game, but at the end of it's not another game. It's a grand final. So, it'd just be great to just try and get back there again one day, hopefully.
Mate, I'm backing you boys to definitely get back in there. I think you've still got a really strong side, and I'd love to see the Orange Tsunami back out there. But I was going to ask, because there's a little bit of a pre-game tradition, if I'm not wrong, that you guys presented your grand final jumpers to each other. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and who presented you your jumper and who you presented their jumper?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I did Heath. I think I did Heath Shaw actually.
Heath Shaw gave you your jumper on your debut, didn't he?
Yeah, he did too. Yeah, he did too. So yeah, we did that before the grand final, which was pretty good. You kind of just stand up there and try and talk serious about Heath Shaw for a minute or two, which is pretty hard. So. It's obviously good. Heath is a good mate of mine, and he's going to be sorely missed around the club.
Yeah, 100%. But so how did you guys, or you personally, I guess, how did you cope with the kind of just massive disappointment that you must have felt after that game in the off season? You've got like 6 months, just I guess thinking about that game. How'd you cope with it?
Big tab at the Collingullie pub.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of drinking. I'll tell you that much. But I reckon, I don't know. I got over it pretty quick. I remember the first week we were kind of drinking most of the week, and then I think it kind of sunk in when I drove back home. In the second, third week after the grand final had happened, and just kind of when people kept asking you what kind of happened that day, I was kind of sunk in a bit. Out. The worst thing was we just got embarrassed and we just kind of got flogged, which. It still annoys me now, like a little bit, just especially seeing Richmond winning again this year. But it's just one of those things you can't. No point dwelling on it. I had no regrets that day, so it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, don't want to focus on it too much, but just one more. Lots of people say, rightly or wrongly, you played your grand final against Collingwood the week before. Do you hold anything in that?
Yeah, we did have a lot of banged up boys leading in the grand final. At the time, we didn't really know a lot about it. I know there was a lot of boys that were injured, and I think to win a grand final, you've got to have everyone on, and you can't have anyone not injured in your side. So, yeah, I think we probably did play a granny against Collingwood, but at the end of the day, it's no excuse.
Yeah, and I've got a little bit of mail here. I don't know if it's true, but is it true that for the first 4 rounds of the season you went around calling yourself John Coleman as you're leading the John Coleman medal? Is that true? And what was it like being the leading goal scorer?
Mate, I never actually said that, but I was going around asking all the boys how many goals he's kicked. I thought I was a chance to win the leading goal kicker for the club. But obviously that went downhill pretty quick. No, it was pretty weird actually leading it for a while. I don't know how it happened because don't know idea. Probably won't happen again in your life. So I made the most of it while I could.
Yeah, well, mate, another listener question actually we've got from Scott Patton on Facebook again. He asks why we moved after leading the Coleman. What was Leon up to there?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. He just told me I was playing back flank for one game, and then kind of didn't really. After that, I didn't really get to kick many goals after that at all.
Mate, Rob, you still managed a great goal against Carlton that sealed the game. But we'll jump a bit. So what was hub life like for you? Because I know that there was sort of like mixed reactions. Like some people said that they really, I guess, enjoyed it being around their mates, whereas a lot of people didn't enjoy it because it was all footy. How did you find it? And I guess, did you find it hard to get away from the game?
I quite liked it, to be honest. Didn't have to worry about cooking, didn't have to clean. Had everything there for us. So I actually loved it. We used to play a bit of golf, do a bit of fishing and that. And then the thing that kind of annoyed me a bit, we were kind of losing a lot. So it was, that was probably the way. If you're winning, I reckon it'd make it a lot more enjoyable. When you start losing a few games, it kind of becomes a bit of a drag. And that was probably the main thing. But other than that, I loved it.
Yeah, why do you think you boys, I guess, struggled a little bit more this year? Do you think it was the hub, or do you just one of those years where I guess things just didn't quite gel?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those years. We definitely didn't adjust to the hubs very well at all, which was a bit annoying. But yeah, I just don't think we gelled. It was funny because our first round against Geelong, we looked like we were going to have a really strong year, and then we come back after the COVID break and we were just totally different teams.
How many goals did you kick in that round one game?
Yeah, kicked a couple.
Kicked four, I think. Four against the Cats.
Four, don't know how. But yeah, after that COVID break, we seemed to just be a totally different team, which is the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, right. So I've got to ask, I don't know how good you are with the old kind of persuasive speeches kind of thing, but if you were telling someone why the Giants are going to win the flag next year, can you give me a bit of a speech as to why you guys are going to step up your game and really push the premiership next year?
Can I go first? Perryman playing forward, winning the Coleman.
Oh, that'd be nice. I don't know. I think, don't know, we've obviously lost a fair few players, but I think when you lose a couple of them good players like that, I reckon a lot of younger boys will step up. And
any names in particular?
Well, big Tommy Green is Tommy Green, Lockie Ash. I was going to say Jai Corbell there, but he's gone. And then I'm sure a lot of blokes will step up. I think big Jesse Hogan, I reckon he's going to be a handy inclusion for us. He's had a few troubles, but I think he could be quite a player, I reckon.
Yeah, on Tom Green, is it actually true that he ate a meat pie in the halftime of a NEAFL game?
I've heard this rumour before, but I'm going to go with it. I reckon he would have. Look at the size of him.
That kind of guy, eh?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he loves a drumstick after dinner. He buys a big 24-pack value pack of drumsticks, and he just chuffs one down every night. There
you go, Harper, mate. That could be your first journalistic article. Tom Green loves drumsticks. Won the night. Mate, secret to playing AFL.
Yeah. He loves a drummy.
What about you? Are you a Maxibon man, Harry?
Yeah, I'm Maxibon.
Good man.
Yeah, buddy, can't beat him.
Well, I don't want to talk about the hub too much, but what was the food like in the hub? Was it
hard-hitting questions here?
Yeah. These are the questions people listen for. Tell us about the cuisine, the delicacies you got served up in the hub.
Yeah, well, we kind of went everywhere. Like, we started in Brisbane. Food was pretty average there. And, like, I love me food. I never complain about food ever. But I was even saying the food was average there. Then we went to Perth for 3 weeks. Food was unbelievable. And then we went back to Gold Coast for the next 5 weeks, I think. And then, like I said, I don't complain much, but that food was pretty average there.
Yeah. No, if the caterers in Brisbane or Gold Coast are listening, any tips to step up their game?
Mate, my auntie's actually she's actually the catering manager at the hotel that he went to at. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I'll nearly do a better job.
Oh, gee, what was wrong with it? Not enough seasoning, too much seasoning? What was the issue?
Nah, I'm probably being a bit rough here. That wasn't too bad in Gold Coast, but I don't know. I think everyone was just sick of probably just having buffet feeds every night. Everyone was probably wanting a bit of a home cooked meal or something every now and then. But I know a lot of the boys were Uber Eats and a lot, so yeah, but you kind of get whatever you want there after all.
Who cooks down at the farm?
Usually Mum does, but well, I was in charge tonight, so I had a run in town and just bought a few pizzas home. Don't worry about the dishes.
100%. Now, you obviously had a pretty awesome year personally. You know, you finished third in the BNF. Were you expecting to, I guess, finish that high? And what did that mean to you? And that you're only 2 votes off the 2 boys that won it. Pretty phenomenal effort.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit of a. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I was obviously at the BNF night. We were having a few beers, and I kind of got a bit close towards the end there, and I thought, shit, I could be a chance to win it here. But lucky, I finished 2 votes off. Otherwise, if my speech, if I had to do a speech, would have been pretty average, I reckon.
Did you win any BNFs in your junior days?
No, I think I came runner-up in the seniors one year. I think it might have been when I was 16 or 17. I might have come runner-up. But I might have won a few under the lower grades. I'm not too sure.
Okay, and now we're jumping away from footy. So I just want to know what some of your interests are outside footy now. You've touched on farming. You've touched on fishing. Is there anything else? I think you're an avid golf player. What else do you do to keep yourself busy?
Yeah, I love me golf. I don't mind building. I don't mind getting on the tools, actually. So I kind of
Yeah, do you have your carpentry? You're doing a carpentry apprenticeship?
Yeah, I'm doing a carpentry apprentice. I haven't done it in bloody ages, to be honest. I need to get back onto it. I was going to study heaps within the hub, but I didn't do any of it.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I don't know how do you boys study? You would?
Yeah, I'm studying law commerce.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah, I'm in year 12 at the moment.
Year 12.
So got another next year, yeah.
Don't know how you bloody do it. I couldn't do it. I could hardly do it. I like just getting on the tools and bloody getting outside.
So what do you love about, I guess, going back to the farm? Like, what aspect do you just really enjoy? Because you get back there every year and every chance you can get. So for obviously some people, we have some city slickers, as we like to call them, that probably wouldn't understand, like, what the farm is like and what you love about it because they've never really experienced it.
Yeah, well, like, I've grown up here my whole life, and just the big wide open spaces, and it's a pretty cruisy lifestyle back here. You don't have to worry about traffic, or you kind of your own boss most of the time, so you can kind of run off your own time, which is what I love the most. And a lot of my mates back here are farmers as well, and they've kind of just stayed here, so it's always good to get back and just come see them. And yeah, I love it coming home and just helping Dad out and helping him out on the farm, because we've had a couple of rough years, so it's always good to just come back and help him out.
Yeah, mate, I was kind of this podcast, this episode's gone through a range of topics. I was going with stuff like issues with some of the food in the hub. I'm going to get into something a bit deep now, if you don't mind. Like, I know you've lived your whole life on the farm, like you've said, really, or obviously a few years in Sydney, but is there like a particular life philosophy or like a quote you live by, anything like that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not really much of a deep thinker. I don't know. I don't really go off many quotes, but I don't mind Dylan Buck. You know Dylan Buckley, his podcast.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
I don't mind his little saying he's got.
What one's that?
I think it's be yourself, everyone, because everyone else is taken. He loves saying that. So,
mate, he took that from Oscar Wilde, but I love it.
I'm just going. That's about the only quote I know, so I'm just going to say that.
I've got to say, Lockie was in contact with Dill. He's a bit of a friend of the show. Dill was in contact with Dill before this episode, tried to get a bit of dirt on you, I think, but it was all praise for you, mate. He said you were the nicest bloke, best skills in the league.
Oh, he's too nice, Dill. I only had him for a year at the Giants, so I'm probably pretty lucky there.
Bit of a prankster in that year, messing around a bit.
Yeah, no, he was good. He was bloody good value having Dill at the club. We only had him for a year, but it kind of felt like you known him for ages. Everyone loved him.
I reckon Dill will be filthy because I reckon he had 2 years at the Giants, so you've undersold him there.
He had 2, did he? He did have 2.
I think it was 2018, 2019. So,
time flies when you're having fun.
Well, there you go. Sorry, Dill, if he ever listens.
Oh, mate, I don't know if he will, mate, but you probably will because you're obviously a great guy. But just jumping on, so obviously at the Giants, I'm sure you have a couple teammates that, they wouldn't know what a screwdriver is. They don't know how to change a light bulb. Have you ever had to be called out to bloody do some of their dirty work around the house because they don't know what they're doing?
Oh, don't know. There definitely is a lot of them. Timmy Tarano, he'd be no good. But who else? He lives with Himmelberg, and Himmelberg's pretty handy. He's pretty handy on the tools and kind of stuff like that. So I'm just trying to think. Well, Zachy Williams, he was a shocker. He would have had no idea. Big Jezza Finlayson, he would have been no good. But I don't know. Other than that, everyone's not too bad. Well, Zach Sproul, he's one of the younger boys. He's hopeless at everything, so he's definitely one name that jumps to mind. But other than that, I think the boys are not too bad.
Yeah, mate, just before we get on to our famous little last segment, I hear from some bit inside sources that your girlfriend actually plays for the Australian netball team, doesn't she?
And the Giants.
That is true, actually. Yeah, we've seen each other at the start of the year, and we kind of kept it under wraps, pretty quiet. But then once everyone found out, it kind of all spread around. She's actually out here on the farm at the moment. Actually, I'll bring her out the farm for a few weeks. So
how's she going on the farm?
Oh, I think she's going all right. She hasn't complained just of yet, but she gets pretty bad hay fever, so she's been struggling with that.
Oh, is she a city girl from Sydney?
Yeah, she's actually been all over the place. She lived in New Zealand for a bit because her dad used to play a bit of rugby league. So she's been there, and then their family house is in the Sunshine Coast, but her family's from Roma, which is out back Queensland, so she's got a bit of bogan in her.
We'll cut that out for you so you don't get in trouble.
Yeah. You'll be all right.
Yeah, mate. So, well, this is the bit that everyone looks forward to, of course. So, we have a famous last segment on this show. It's called the Where Do We Begin quiz, and we'll get into it now. I bet Lockie's absolutely pumped for this. So, Lockie, I'm going to be pitting you up against Harry. I've got 5 questions, and they're all very, very vaguely related to Harry's career. So, it's a best of 5. Lockie against Harry. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay. Harry, you're on a bit of a delay, mate. So, I'll take that into account when I when I work out who's buzzed in first. And your name's your buzzer. So, just say Lockie or Harry when you want to buzz in. So, the question 1 is, Harry, just firstly, what's your birthday?
19th to the 12th, 1998.
Okay, so December 19. So this question 1 is the closest to the pin question. One of the most joyous days in all of the Caribbean is every December 19. On this day, National Heroes and Heroines Day, the small but proud island nation of Anguilla celebrates the men and women whose heroic acts make Anguilla a better place to live. Closest to the pin, what's the population of Anguilla?
I haven't even heard of the place.
300, Harry. Harry's guessed 300. Lockie, do you want to have
300 people.
Yeah, it's a shit guess.
I'll go like, mate, I reckon it'd be a couple 100,000, 200,000.
Harry's actually closest. It's 15,052.
Oh, mate, you killed it.
Yep. I'll take that.
It's like a tiny little British territory in the Caribbean, apparently. Big shout out to anyone listening in Anguilla. Love your work. Anyway, question 2. So, obviously, you're a Riverina boy. Someone else who spent a bit of time in the Riverina region in her life is Margaret Court. Great tennis player, obviously. Some dodgy political views now, but we won't talk about them at the moment. Anyway, question 2 is Margaret Court has won the most Grand Slam singles titles of any woman in tennis history, with 24. In which decade did she win most of these titles?
1980? In the 80s? Not 80s?
80s? That is incorrect. Lockie, do you want to have a crack?
70s?
70s is... She won 8 in the 70s, but she won 16 in the 60s, so 70s is incorrect. So, Margaret Court, bloody brilliant career. She won 16 in the 60s and 8 in the 70s, 11 Australian Opens, 5 French Opens, 3 Wimbledon and 5 US Opens, and she retired like halfway through her career for a while as well. So a pretty amazing record there from Margaret Court. But anyway, question 3. Harry is still 1-0 up, I believe. So Harry, you're number 36 for the Giants, is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
Question 3 is, what measurement is made up of 36 inches?
Oh.
Hey, you need to make these a bit easier.
I'll give you a clue. We don't use it in the metric system in Australia, but it's...
Inches?
I think
Yard?
it's made up of 36 inches.
A yard?
A yard's correct. Nailed it. Lockie's leveled the scores. It's 1-1. Heats on here, Harry.
I'm really happy that we don't do like video, because I just, with my small arms, just did a big flex and there's nothing there to flex.
Anyway, we'll move on to question 4. So, Harry, obviously, my initials are HP, Harper Pestage. You've got a lovely set of initials, HP, Harry Perryman.
Yeah, good.
Love those letters. Great combo, mate. And, of course, another HP is the great man, Harry Potter. So, I'm going to ask... who out of you two can name the most Harry Potter books? So just buzz in and say as many as you can.
Lockie,
go for it.
Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone if we're hearing for our friends in America, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and then Deathly Hallows. And then I guess you also got Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. You got the Chaos Child book. And
Quidditch Through the Ages as well, if you want to say that. But, mate, that's more than enough. I'll give you the point.
He's a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
Mate, I am a massive Harry Potter fan.
Were you a big fan of that, Harry?
Yeah, I used to watch him when I was younger, but I wouldn't be able to reel off the names of them.
Yeah, well, Lockie's done well there, but we move on to question 5. Lockie's 2-1 up, but I've got to say,
I'm in strife.
Harry, you're still a fairly good chance of winning, because question 5 is a who am I question. So I'm going to go down from 5 points all the way down to 1 point with a series of clues. And once you buzz in and get it wrong, you can't buzz in until the other person gets it wrong. Is that all clear with you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Too easy. Okay, so for 5 points, remember this is all very, very vaguely related to your career, so that might help in guessing an answer. For 5 points, I was born on the 25th of October, 1984 in Santa Barbara, California.
Next.
I'll move it on. It might be a bit tricky. So, 4 points. After singing in church during my childhood, I pursued a career in gospel music as a teenager, but have changed my style since then. Shall I continue?
Yep.
All right, I'll move on to the 3-point clue. Harry, the heat's starting to warm up here, so got to get in soon, mate, for 3 points. I've released 6 studio albums, 1 under my birth name and 5 under my stage name, the last 4 of which have all reached the top 2 in Australia's album charts.
Hey, pressure creates diamonds, and I'm not turning into a diamond. I've got no idea.
I think we're going to have no idea,
I'll move on to the 2-point clue. So, for 2 points, one of my songs holds the record for most first-day streams for a song by a female artist, and I was also the first artist to have multiple videos reach 1 billion views on Vivo, and also my Super Bowl halftime show is the most watched in history.
Madonna?
Lockie.
Harry Perryman, is your answer Madonna?
Yes.
That would be incorrect, my friend. Lockie, do you want to have a crack?
I'll go Beyonce.
Lockie Gibbs, Beyonce is also incorrect. So, Harry, you could have another guess now if you want to win it outright, or I can go to the 1-point clue and it will be a draw and I can get a tiebreaker question. Which one do you want to go for?
Go for another question.
Okay, so I'm going to read, I think one of you will probably get it here. So, I'm going to read out the lyrics to one of our most famous songs, and you can just buzz in whenever you want. And you've both got one wrong, so you can both buzz in. So this is the lyrics to a song courtesy of azlyrics.com. I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sit quietly, agree politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up. Hey, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice. You hear that sound.
Lockie.
Lockie.
Oh,
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift's incorrect.
Harry,
Harry.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry's absolutely correct. That is a quizzing meltdown from Lockie there. Jeez. He's just giving Harry the shot of a lifetime at it. Jeez. So,
Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, Eye of the Tiger. Oh, mate, yeah. I
Song
know.
is,
I
of
don't know
course,
why I
War.
thought Taylor Swift.
the score is 2-2. And we haven't had this in all 24 episodes of the show. We're going to have to go to a tiebreaker question. So I've got to find something first. We'll edit this bit out. I should have prepared this.
Farcical.
Okay, here we go. It's the closest to the pin question, this one. So, closest to the pin, this is for the win. What is the population of Australia?
22 million.
Harry can go in first because he said his name.
22 million.
I'll go Lachlan, and I'll go 22 million and one person because it's just above 22 million.
Oh, he's got a cheap shop there, and it's worked off very nicely for him. It's 25,608,971.
Oh, no. Take no prisoners, no friends in the quiz game, Harry.
Too good.
Lockie, you should have won that much earlier, mate. You really choked on the last question there, but Harry, you did well.
He joke.
You did well to take it to a tiebreaker, mate. Well done.
Yeah, no, I thought I had it there.
Yeah, like, I can't imagine you're too into your Katy Perry, but to get that one over Lockie, who's a big fan of Katy Perry, I know. Very well done. Very well done.
Thanks, mate.
So, yeah, thanks so much for your time, Harry, mate. Ripper episode. I loved it.
Too easy, boys. That was good chat.
Yeah, we'll leave it there, mate. Thanks very much. See ya.
See you, boys. Good on yous.
Wow, how good was that?
Harry Perryman, what a guy. I've got to say, we're recording this straight after that quiz, and that was one of the all-time, not just all-time great Where Do We Begin quizzes, all-time great competitions in the history of sport, because that was more entertaining for me than the Collingwood GWS prelim final, more riveting. Just great guy, Harry Perryman, to talk to and compete with, hey.
Yeah, mate, 100%, mate. He's a great competitor. And you guys asked for the big questions here, and we ask him. The food and the hub, we have the answers. So I'm sure you enjoyed that. I reckon now, though, it's time to plug the socials. So you can find us on Facebook at Where Do We Begin?
Yeah, and you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at WDWBpod, and you should already be following us, really, if we're going to be true about it. It's at WDWBpod on Instagram and Twitter. Some great content there. And, of course, go recommend us to your mates, which would be hugely appreciated, and we'll love you all for it. If you give us a big 5-star review and give us a big shout-out to all your mates, that would be we'd be very grateful for that.
And a couple of thank yous, Dan. Thank you so much, Harry, for jumping on. Really appreciate it. And, of course, thank you so much for our listeners. And thank you for everybody that put forward a question. We really appreciated them, and it's something that we want to do more moving forward.
Yeah, keep an eye on the socials to get your chance to ask some more questions. And also as well, thank you to our listeners. You're the lifeblood of the show. You're the reason why we do this. We love making podcasts for you. And we'll see you next Monday with another great guest.